YouTube, what's going on? What's happening? As always, I am Hadou Kid, and today we are back with some Gears of War news. Now, I know it's been a minute since I covered some Gears of War stuff or since I made some videos, but I wanted to get into this because obviously it's the talk of the town right now. So at the Xbox showcase, they showed off a new Gears of War game that's coming out. And as we can see, it's not necessarily the next game in the storyline. It's technically, I guess, the next Gears game, but it won't be the Gears 6 we've all been kind of speculating about. This Gears game looks to travel back in time to the events of E-Day as they occurred, which, as you know, is Emergence Day, where the Locusts first emerged on Sarah and started to, do their thing. And I just want to preface this by saying this video is definitely going to be more discussion based. I kind of have some thoughts, I have some feelings I wanted to share, not necessarily as structured as the other videos I've kind of put together, but just as I'm reacting with you guys, just trying to speculate, trying to think through, and overall just getting a little hype about what's next to come. So in my opinion, I think it's an interesting choice and I kind of like it. I mean, if you look at how the latest Gears games have gone, I think the reception to the new characters has been kind of iffy. Typically the reactions I hear from people are they get excited when they see the OG Gears characters. The new Gears characters don't kind of hit the same way. They don't have that camaraderie necessarily, that backstory that really gripped us like some of the old brothers in arms have in the original Gears story. So to go back now to E-Day when it first happened with Marcus, a young Marcus at that, fighting beside Dom, you get even more of that, wingman experience, I'll say, where you get to see their brotherhood form and you get to really look at them, I guess you could say, in their glory days. Well, Marcus seems more like his training days, but again, you get to see them become who they are in the games that we kind of knew and loved 1 through 3. So this is really a smart move. Again, from a fan base perspective, you're really bringing in the OG Gears people like myself and some of the other people who played the original games, who fell in love with the original cast, and who ultimately really gravitate towards that Gears formula with the original people. Now you get more of that on top of extra stories we haven't heard before. I think I've said it in a previous video where there's lots of stuff in the comics, especially from E-Day and even Pendulum War stuff, that may have been kind of hinted at in the games, but they never really went into detail on it. So they could really do a lot with this extra content as far as building on those stories and really building up the characters to who we know them as in Gears 1, 2, and 3. And building on those character development stories will, I think, really give us an insight to Gears that we've never even seen before. Obviously, we like the characters like Marcus and Dom, and you won't probably see Cole or Barrett at this point because obviously they're much later in the story. But to see Marcus, again, he was getting the brakes beat off him by that drone, I'm not gonna lie to you. But that just kind of shows you that back then he was still just another soldier and he had to become Marcus Phoenix, and we haven't seen probably as much of that as we could, which this is a really good opportunity to see that, as well as Dom. Again, like to see his stories, maybe even to build on his relationship with Maria and how all of that intertwines with his own growth and development. I just really think this is a smart move. I'm one of those people that particularly gets excited when I see Delta Squad or Marcus or Dom, and anybody will tell you that one of their favorite moments in history is just the Dom sacrificing himself in Gears 3. So this is a really smart move, and I don't know, I can't help but wonder how it ties into Gears 6, because obviously they eventually have to get back to the story they were developing, and this goes back to before those characters were even thought about. But in a good way, it brings back the fan base, it builds up on storylines, and also maybe adds potential new storylines. Now, we don't see Marcus without his do-rag a lot in the OG Gears games. Really in Gears 3, you see him take it off at the end when he's like, it's finally over, and then Coalescence like, just kidding, we got more games to make. But to see him, you know, if you notice, he kind of looks a lot like JD. You know, obviously that's his dad, but it's like they were specifically trying to make younger Marcus and draw parallels to how much he maybe struggled, or, you know, again, his rookie season, so to speak, as far as the Locust War is concerned. So maybe they're trying to do this thing where they're trying to show a little bit of Marcus's struggle and then relate it to JD's struggle later on. Obviously, if you beat Gears 5, at the end, you know, you have to make a decision. You save JD, save Dell. And of course, in a weird way, even though you make one decision, they're going to go with a canon decision most likely, which a lot of people speculate is that JD survives and Dell is kind of like, you know, whatever. So if that's the case, then you can even use this opportunity with Gears E-Day to, again, kind of build up that relationship with Dom, Marcus and Dom, even more, tug on the heartstrings a little bit, and then use that as a way to show Marcus's experience with trying to help his son with grieving with his best friend, because obviously JD's gonna have to deal with that in the new game if that's the direction they go. So I think it really opens up stuff like that, you know, whether it's Marcus just trying to guide him more as a father through that, or just through his experiences as a soldier. Or, I mean, even the possibility that if you build up this hype around Marcus and Dom, you get us to really love those characters even more than we already do, then you have Marcus in Gear 6 kind of pull a Dom, and, you know, it's like, hey, I lived a great life, and now I want to give you the same opportunity kind of thing. That's my voice acting audition tape. But, you know, really tug at the heartstrings and then send Marcus out in a big hurrah like they did with Dom. Who knows if that'll happen, but I mean, that, just saying, that would give me, again, these are just my thoughts about this. There's still a lot of questions around how this would tie into Gear 6. Also around when either of these games comes out, because this was a teaser, right? So that means that there's still probably a lot of development to go into just Gears of War E-Day, not to mention whenever the next Gears game will come out, which may or may not be another build up of previous storylines or Gears 6. But nonetheless, this definitely has my interest to see a lot of these things come to light, and it'll also be a good test of the Unreal Engine 5 engine for Gears, because I think this will be the first Gears game that uses that. So a lot of opportunity. I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited. One more thing, I wonder how they'll do the multiplayer as well, because I don't know, when you go back to this kind of theme after having built up Gears 4 and Gears 5, I can't help but wonder what the multiplayer will be like if it'll be only old characters. Do you just get the old iterations of Dom and Marcus? Are you gonna see the other characters like Baird and Cole come in? Obviously they were doing their own thing, but I mean, you could still tie them in. You get young Bernie, young Hoffman, I mean, any opportunity of people. You could even get Jungle Ty, because I don't know if y'all know, but Ty was a dog. Like, we saw Ty not in his best moment in Gears 2, but when they met Ty and he lived in the jungle, he was that guy. So I don't know, interested to see how they go with the multiplayer. If they bring in future characters, not like that matters in multiplayer anyway, but it'd be kind of weird to see like JD with young Marcus, but also that'd be kind of cool, I guess. I don't know, we'll see. But let me know you guys' thoughts. Obviously this is still really raw and there's still a lot of details to come, but I did sit and I had a lot of thoughts, and I just figured I would kind of lay them out there to see what you guys were thinking. So let me know in the comments what you think about this game. Do you think it's gonna hit? Do you think it should have dropped the next Gear 6 instead of this game? Are you excited? Let me know what's going through your mind. All I can say is that I've seen a lot of people reacting to this, and just hashtag Gears is back seems to be the name of the game. So more to come, I guess, but we'll see where the future of Gears leads us, or the past. Anyway, I appreciate the love and support, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care.